Hello, Dai here from Timeslip Softworks. Welcome to the 40th development video for Vigilantes. In this video I'll cover the changes and improvements made to Vigilantes version 20. Version 20 is the first version of Vigilantes which will be released on Steam. Now you'll notice that I'm actually playing it on Steam right now, and if you're a Kickstarter backer you can too, because the Steam keys have just been uploaded to the Humble packages, so you'll be able to get your key there. If you run into any trouble, just let me know and I'll look into it for you. Now it's not actually coming out to the 5th, but these keys have been set to allow immediate access, so you'll be able to play it right away. It is worth pointing out that Vigilantes is still in early access. Stability reports on stability from our own testing and from the volunteer testers that are helping us with the game suggests the stability of this version is pretty solid. I've had reports from my own playing. I've played 10 hours without any crashes or any serious bugs, and we've had similar reports from multiple testers. So this looks like a pretty good version to launch on Steam with. If this update were to have a theme, it would be about improving the atmosphere of the game. But before I get to that, I'll just show you this map very quickly. This is a Mafia jazz club. It's one of their rackets, and it's one of the ones you're going to have to find and assault, which I'm kind of in the process of doing now. One of the things I've worked on for the atmosphere of the game, the bark system has been improved. It's been improved in two ways. The first is that rather than just a small selection of barks, there was about I think a dozen barks before. There are now probably well over 100, maybe 200. There's a set of barks for each gang, and there's a set of barks for each ally. So there's a lot more diversity in the battle chatter. I'm just actually playing it now to see if I can bring some of it up. So there we go, that was a critical hit. And you'll also notice that previously it was kind of like a big blocky element, a UI element with the portrait, and it just took up an awful lot of space. So I've cut down the size of that as well. So yeah, they're kind of cursing at me and various things like that. But there's quite a lot of different barks in it now. And I suppose I may as well just move on. I'll go back to actually one other thing that could perhaps be covered here. I don't know if it's necessarily showing in this particular encounter, but enemies have much more diverse equipment now. Previously they kind of had unarmed and maybe a couple of handguns. Now they have like batons, they have hammers, they have knives, they have shotguns. So the enemy loadouts are much more diverse now, so they should present a more significant challenge to you in this version of the game. And to move on, there is actually one more map. It's the Mafia HQ. I haven't showed you that one, but it is in there, and that brings us to 37 out of a minimum 45 maps. There's been a little kind of polishing going on in terms of the cityscape. Now, this is the improved cityscape. It's not final yet, but it was one of the kind of least polished UI screens, so I've went and had a look at that. Also, the gang intel screen has been improved too. And shop. So rather than just bringing up all the various items, basically all of the items in the game were in the shop. Now it starts off giving you low level items and will gradually improve the quality and the quantity of these items, and it refreshes currently every 24 hours. And crafting is now dependent on the relevant facility, so instead of all crafting being done in the workshop, the trauma kits require a surgery, the armor requires a workshop, but the likes of bullets, they require the firing range slash gun press or bullet press. And let's see, yeah, the tutorial content has been expanded. There's basically now a tutorial for, I think they're actually disabled here, but there's much more in-depth tutorials and on a broader range of subjects. So hopefully that'll be of help to hopefully the influx of players which come to the game when it comes out on early access. Another thing which has been added is the introduction. Now, a couple of people have asked, how Sam ended up in an alleyway with a ski mask. So, if you're curious, you can just start a new game and you'll find out. It's a voiced introduction with a number of illustrations which possibly haven't been seen before. There's also been a reasonable amount of new content, 6 new weapons, the 6 new ranged weapons, the Nobuki Ashigaru, which is a kind of fairly low grade pistol, and the Nobuki Ronin sniper rifle, the Nobuki Samurai, which is an assault rifle. There's a sawed-off double-barrel shotgun. There's a General Arms Peacemaker, which is a kind of mid-level SMG, and the Urcorp Nemesis, which is a kind of a higher level pistol. Also two new melee weapons, the machete and the baton. And a lot of the extra time has been invested in fixes. Obviously we wanted to try and get, have this version, the version we launch in Steam with being as stable as it possibly can be, and as smooth and good an experience as it can be. So I spent an awful lot of time working on bugs. In particular, Overwatch has been an absolute nightmare. I'd say probably spent around 25 hours testing it, well, maybe even more, probably even more than 30 hours testing it over the course of 3 days. And it's not very fun, just constantly trying Overwatch, trying to break it, then fixing it, and then testing all possible conditions again. But the good news is that, for a historically sort of difficult system, it appears to be working pretty well now. In the last 10 hours of testing Overwatch, I've tested basically all of the simple conditions multiple times, and then situations where different types of Overwatch and different types of conditions come to play as much as possible, and there have been no crashes. So I think that's going to be pretty good. So there's been a lot of work on fixes. I haven't really logged all the fixes on the patch notes because I just got very kind of intense into it, working about 10 or 11 hours a day. But so the game should be in pretty good shape stability wise, and I hope you enjoy it. That's pretty much it for this update, and I will keep you posted on what's happening for version 21, although it will probably be around a week and a half or more before we get to start on it. So thanks very much, and I'll talk to you soon.